Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert Camo, the fantasy football counselor, with Tim, aka the bald guy. What's going on, Tim?
Not much, man. Let me ask you, why do they call me the bald guy?
Well, I don't even know how that started. I think you and I started it. And there was a guy, he was basically a construction worker, came into my house one day. He came to fix something on a new build. And he's like, hey, I know you. You're the counselor. And he saw the studio because we had it in the house. That was the old house. And then he's like, I know you and the bald guy. And it kind of stuck. And everyone called you the bald guy. I don't even know. This was years ago, right? How did it start? I don't remember.
So that no matter what, that's a good story. I mean, I was just going to keep it simple and say it's because I'm friggin' bald, and all bald guys are the same.
Yeah.
But no, I love that story actually because I'm nameless, and we used to make fun of that too. I was nameless. I was just the bald guy.
Yeah, and then this again, if you guys don't know the story, I was on, my new build construction house, and again, one of the builders came in and recognized me, and then called Tim the bald guy, and that's how we got it, just from some random fan. So that's kind of the backstory there.
He's a real witty dude and very insightful.
Very, very, and he plays fantasy, so he knew us. He watches the YouTube channel. So, Tim, listen, forget the names right now. The only names that matter are the names that we're going to avoid. So we've got top 10 players to avoid for fantasy football 2022. Now, there's a ton of players I would avoid, like Devontae Booker and the Peyton Barbers and the Giovanni Bernards, and names that don't really matter. But these are big names. These are early average draft position names. These are massive names that the mainstream have top of their rankings. And you and I are just going to avoid them for the reasons that we're going to explain here in this video. Tim, I'm excited to dive into this list. This is very important. Now, you can call these guys busts. You can call them players to avoid. You can call them whatever you want. But I'm personally not drafting my guys. I've got 5. Tim's got 5. And we're not drafting them. And we're going to explain why.
Yeah, exactly, man. I wouldn't draft these guys. And we'll give you the reasons why. You might disagree with us, which a lot of you probably will. So be it,
It is what it is. All right. So listen, before we get into this, guys, head on over right now to our website, thefantasyfootballcouncil.com. Get that 16-round draft solution. This will help you guys crush your leagues. A lot of people may not know what it is because you're probably new to the channel. So make sure you guys subscribe, because there's a lot of people, Tim, that watch our videos that haven't actually subscribed. So make sure you guys subscribe. Very important. And get that 16-round draft solution. It's a video training with the notes, all the optimal players drafting each round, because literally rankings are dead. It's not going to help you guys win your leagues. Okay. To win your leagues, you're not getting copy and paste rankings from last year and you draft them based on ADP. Do what everybody else does. You're not going to get that edge. This is going to omit all these, again, players to avoid and give you all the optimal players drafting each round, 16 rounds. And when you sign up for that, there's going to be a prompt to join the 365 community. Make sure you guys join that as well. That'll cover your year long. So we cover you for the draft. We cover you for a year long. Tim, I'm excited about 16 rounds this year. It's going to be massive. And man, we've got a lot of testimonials from last year, man.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's a totally different way of approaching the draft. You're going to make some changes this year. You are going to add a printable. Talked about this many times. Printable.
People kept asking about it. Yeah, there'll be a printable add-on to it as well, but you always got to check the notes on there as well, because I update them. All right, let's dive into this. I'm going to start with mine. I'm just going to be greedy here. I'm not even going to give you a chance. I'm going to dive into my first player to avoid, Tim. Without further ado, people are going to think I'm crazy. Here, hold on. We need a song for this one, right?
You need no.
All right. The player. What's wrong with that beat?
You got to work on the sound effects.
What's wrong with that?
That's horrible. It's like a fantasy type thing.
All right. This is
fairy godmother sprinkling dust.
This is fantasy. All right. First player to avoid. Let's try this again. The Conchiefs song. By the way, I love that song. We're going to play that later. Cooper Kupp. Let's just get to it. Cooper Kupp, I'm avoiding him. And I'm going to sound like a broken record for a lot of these guys, but it's very important you understand. Tim's like, Cooper Kupp, how could you avoid him? Tim, are you upset about this one? I can tell.
No, I don't agree with you on him. You're just going to make the case that he had a pinnacle year and he's going to drop. You've said it. You're a broken record.
Yes, just like Michael Thomas, and you were fighting against me for the Michael Thomas one. I love Michael Thomas.
I don't look at
injuries
I want to
the way you do. Michael Thomas. I like this is 2019. I love Michael Thomas. I want to rub oil on his head. He's my favorite. He had a pinnacle year, and I said he's going to decline 2020. Oh, but Joe, even if a slight decline, Joe, I'm still going to rub oil on his head. I love him. I'm going to massage his back. I'm going to draft him on my team. And sure enough, Michael Thomas busted. Same thing with Cooper Kupp. Everybody's riding his nuts now, massaging them. It's pretty nasty right now because everybody is just taking Cooper Kupp, simply predicate on this amazing pinnacle let me repeat this, anomaly type year. Stop rubbing this guy's nuts and say, hey, We understand. We respect you had a good year, but I'm not paying that price. Whereas I was telling you 16 rounds, get him for his ADP last year, third, fourth round, avoid Robert Woods. If you remember, Tim, last year, everybody had Robert Woods ahead of this guy last year, okay? So this year, pinnacle year, everybody's loving him, massaging him, riding that train. It's like, dude, he's coming down. He's coming down hard this year. Super Bowl hangover this year as well. So I'm avoiding him. I'm not paying him. And as you know, I'm going robust RB first round. So those are my points, man. It's just law of averages. What goes up's coming down. It's coming down hard, I think.
Yeah, but when you bring up things like the Michael Thomas, it's injury, dude. You can never predict an injury. So yeah, you'll say law of averages.
Yeah.
You're not making a prediction. You're going off of the law of averages, which, okay, I understand. I'm a numbers
Yeah.
guy. I like that. I get it. However, a healthy Michael Thomas would have been amazing. A healthy Cooper Kupp is friggin' amazing. So I get the argument of you don't want to pay that high price this year compared to where you got him from last year. That makes sense to me as well.
Yeah.
But he's still an amazing talent. He's still a great pickup. It's just the price is a little too high right now. So yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with you on that point, but you try to bring too much other stuff into it. Like, yes, he can easily fall off. His yardage, almost 2,000 yards in the air, like friggin' ridiculous. So yeah,
not happening again.
16 touchdowns. I see a decline in all that stuff too as well. What did he finished 440 points basically? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective, this was actually a better year. Okay, this is a better year than Antonio Brown had in like 2015, which is amazing. You look at the targets here, Tim, 191 targets. Okay, if you look at that, I mean, Antonio Brown that year, and again, I'm off the top of my head here, you can look it up, had like 168 targets. Juju had 166. Juju and Antonio Brown had these amazing year back in 2015 or 16. Go look it up. And then Michael Thomas didn't even have this amount of targets. Okay, so this was so high. It's just not sustainable at all. 16 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? It's crazy. But again, a lot of people are going to be drafting them based on that. Do you understand? Like, that's the whole point I'm trying to get across.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I say, those are pinnacle numbers, but he's always been a pretty talented guy. Obviously, the numbers weren't there in 2020, 2019. I'm looking back. They're nowhere near that. But still, this guy is a talent. It's just the price now is too high because of the one pinnacle year.
I'm just going to avoid him. Absolutely. And hopefully you guys are going robust RB and avoiding him as well. I mean, it is what it is. And another reason, I got to say this before we get into this as well. There's your pick. The main reason I'm avoiding him as well, aside from going robust RB and all the reasons I stated, is this is very important. There was a ton of depth at wide receiver. Just like last year, everybody was sleeping on Jamar Chase, right? He was ranked like 40th amongst, wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Deebo Samuel was actually behind Brandon Ayuk last year, right? Cooper Kupp was a value. There's so many wide receiver ones that are like so low that you can get for value and load up later. So we'll talk about that in the 16-round draft. So make sure you guys are in there now. Go get it below here. All right. So Tim, who do you got here at number 2? Who are you avoiding?
This one you're going to like because you love to bag on this guy.
Yeah,
the newest model in the line, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh yeah. And people are starting to wonder about me because I'm always posting pics about him naked and stuff like that. Yeah. They're wondering, like, do you really like have a crush on this guy? Like, what's going on? Is there there's no crush at all. It's the fact that here's the deal. You are supposed to be a fantasy stud and you're out there modeling and you've only, okay, you can model if you're crushing it. Okay. You can model if you're Tom Brady or Josh Allen or someone else that's producing on a high level, right? Najee Harris can go model now. He had a great year last year, right? Jonathan Taylor can go model. I don't care. But you've played 10 games. Let me repeat this, 10 games in the past 2 seasons. I'm avoiding him. And what's crazy is that he's the same person. He's a mirror image of Saquon Barkley when you're looking at the type of player he is, talent, physical, and they both missed a lot of time. Yes, CMC has performed a little higher when he was healthy, right? He's achieved a little bit more in fantasy. Both these guys have been injured, and Saquon is value, and CMC is like the second running back, on the rankings right now amongst running backs. It's crazy. Why they can sheeps? He's behind Taylor.
I totally agree with you in the sense that he's missed way too much time over the last 2 years, where he's still been top picks both years. You've got to take that into account. Yes, he's an amazing talent when he's on the field, but he saw so much action in those first few years. He was on the field like a ridiculous amount of snaps, 90% or more of the snaps, like crazy, crazy high. Right. And not just that he was on the field, but he's heavily involved when he's on the field. So he's getting hit after hit after hit. And, normally we're not talking soft hits. We're not talking where a wide receiver might get hit for 1 out of every 20 plays he's on the field, like a good hard hit. A running back's getting hammered, guys. These guys have a short lifespan, essentially, when it comes to football. So that's why I'm tempering everything when it comes to CMC. Amazing talent, just taken so much of a beating. Now that he's had 2 years off, you can say, oh, he's had 2 years off to let his body heal. Yes, it might heal, but now once he gets back into those games, if they do not pull him back and use him less and he starts taking that beating again, it's going to pile up faster now. That's my thinking. He's going to be more susceptible than ever because the body has already taken a beating, had 2 years off to kind of recuperate. Now it's taking that beating again. It can't maintain it. So pull him back. If he was more of a value, I'd say yes, give it a shot. But fact is, he's still going to go in like the top 5, top 6 RBs. It's not there for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's, again, based on the way the consensus have him ranked, that's going to translate into your fantasy football league wherever you're drafting, because you're going to see him there and that's how people draft, which is really sad. That's why 60 rounds is a game changer. They're just going to see CMC there at 2. They're going to overlook Derrick Henry bounce back and other great running backs. They're just going to see him because that's where he's slated. Whatever app you're using, whether it be Yahoo or ESPN, wherever you're drafting from, he's going to be slated as like the 2-3 running back. And again, that's way too high for a guy who's that injured over the past couple of years. I mean, there could be a chance for a bounce back, but he is on a suspect offense who is trying to find an identity with a quarterback and other situations. And, I don't know. I don't trust that offense at all. It's not the same offense it was a couple of years ago when he was thriving.
And that's the problem, though. He is their offense. He is the one key functional guy in the entire offense. So that's why they had to use him so much. But in doing so, they used him up.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to my third one here. Let's roll to number 3. And let's switch over to a quarterback here. And I think he's our only quarterback we're mentioning. And I'm not drafting him. And the reason is simply similar to why I not drafting Cooper Kupp is Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, for the past couple of years, I was able to get him at value after the 5th, 6th round. He was the guy that I was getting. People were sleeping on him. Tim, I actually remember a fine time, and there was a time, Tim, where I remember Tim's looking.
You got to get the dreamy look in your eye. Like,
yeah, I remember a time. We need smoke and we need the effect here. I remember a time, this is a true story, Tim, and a lot of people won't believe me. They think it's magical, kind of like the sound effect. There was a time where people thought I was crazy, like put this guy in a straitjacket, believe it or not. They thought Baker Mayfield was better than Josh Allen. This is a true story. And I was ripped on this after I did a post saying Josh Allen's better. And sure enough, Josh Allen's better. And now he's pretty much the 1st or 2nd quarterback off the board. Forget it. I'm not paying it. I'm looking for that 4th, 5th, 6th round value. And Tim, there is a ton of value at quarterback. Deshaun Watson's coming back. He's sitting 10th amongst quarterbacks. There's Aaron Rodgers has dropped down because obviously he doesn't have receivers, right? I'm not looking at him really. But Russell Wilson's going to be good value. There's a ton of quarterback I can still get without overpaying for Josh Allen. Now, will they finish to Josh Allen's numbers? Maybe, potentially, maybe even surpass him. Yes, Josh Allen is super safe, but he's super expensive, ranked ahead of Pat Mahomes right now, which is ludicrous. And I got to state one more thing. I remember the year Lamar Jackson a couple years ago had this amazing pinnacle year, ranked number 1 quarterback, and he finished 10th that year. And he was being drafted in the 2nd round. I said, avoid him. And he was, finished 10th. So he busted, completely on that ADP when you could be loading up on running back or something else. So Josh Allen, completely hands off, staying away from me. What do you think? Josh Allen, are you drafting? Are you investing an early pick in a 1 quarterback league we're talking?
No, however, I do understand why he's so high. He is a great talent. He's on a great defensive team, which means the offense typically on the team on the field a lot longer. I get it. He's a running quarterback. He can do it himself, blah, blah, blah. Now, I never listened to this bull crap that they say, oh, we don't want him to run as much this year, but it's just inbred in this guy. You're not going to hold him back. If he wants to run, he's going to run. If he sees the opening, he's gone. And that's what you want in a running quarterback. And it's not just that he can only run or he relies on his legs. No, the guy's got a cannon for an arm too. So fantastic quarterback, definitely deserves to be the 2nd quarterback off the board, basically. But problem is that means you're taking him very, very early. And if God forbid, if any one thing happens, now you're screwed. Now you're picking up a guy, now you're picking up maybe a Matt Ryan, who maybe you're high on, but I'm not. You're picking up a quarterback that is off the board. Nobody even chose him. So I just see the prices being so high that I don't invest it in quarterbacks either. But the talent is everything is there to point for Josh Allen having great years.
Yeah, I'm avoiding them. There's better value you can get at quarterback.
And that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of my guys, especially, is I just don't want to pay the price, and I'll make an argument as to why I don't want to pay the price.
Yeah. All right, Tim, your turn. Who do you got here? Number 4. Who is the 4th player we're going to avoid? And again, not particular order, just 10 guys we're avoiding.
I hate agreeing with you so many times. It's just it leaves a bad taste
You're
in my mouth.
brainwashed now. You're seeing the line,
it disgusts me.
Yeah. Well, lion now, Tim, and I can see the beard. You just need to grow the beard out, and you get a whole mane going right now. So
that's it. Yeah,
little dirt on your chin. Just get it all around like this.
I can always buy a wig that just has that wild hair.
Just walk around and roar all the time.
So,
all right.
Anyways, it's Cookie. It's Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. So, Tim, I mean, other than stating the obvious here, why are you avoiding Dalvin Cook?
Once again, the price is just too damn high. Phenomenal talent. Blah blah blah. You might say injury prone, and I get it. Yes, he's been injured a fair bit, but he never misses a great amount of time when he's injured. It's always like 3 games a season here, 4 there, 2 this one, blah, blah, blah. So he always misses a little bit of time, but all his numbers have dropped. Even when he's on the field, if you look at his averages, everything has dropped over the last couple of years. So it's not just the fact that he's injury prone or he misses a few games. It's that he's missed games and everything's dropped. He's still a phenomenal runner, I would guess. I have my notes here. Okay, so in 2020, he had 16 rushing touchdowns. That's amazing. That was his big year. He has not even come close to that in any of his other years. I think the next best was probably 13, if I remember correctly.
2019, yes.
The one thing is he's good for a 5-yard per carry average. So he's got that down. And he doesn't get used much in the passing game, not as much as he needs to make up for any loss in the run game. So these are my reasons. So if he loses some touchdowns, he loses some carries, he misses a few games, he can't make up for it by getting some catches and some touchdowns that way. So This is my point. It's just too high of a price for a guy that is kind of one-dimensional, and what you see is what you get. He's going to miss some time. He's going to be a focal point of the offense, but it's limited. Unless he has that pinnacle year, he's limited. So I'm not expecting a pinnacle year. I would never expect a pinnacle. You got to look at that as a bonus. He's decent, but he's not worth the price.
Yeah, I'm staying away. And the fact of the matter is he busted last year, significantly busted. It wasn't even like a close one. Like he was first round pick, and he finished what? I got to go back here and check, like 15th or 16th amongst running backs, which is a big time bust. And the big question here is which games. It's not a matter of is he going to miss a game. He is going to miss a game. He's done it every single year of his 5-year career. And we talk about running backs breaking down. He's hit his pinnacle. It's not like he's going to come out and break out and finish on top again. I just don't see it. Once a running back is on a decline, it's very rare that he emerges back up. So when I look at it from a perspective of declining, again, finished 16th last year, everything's been kind of declining, right? So especially, like I said, the touchdowns from 16 to what do you have last year? 6 rushing touchdowns. It's a different offense a little bit. Jefferson has become more of a focal point here in the receiving game. They're throwing a bit more. I don't know, man. Again, it's like one of those like surprises you don't want. So you draft them. He's going to miss a game, but win. Surprise is the championship win. Surprise is midseason when you need that win, right? Too much uncertainty around a guy like that. And every time people draft Dalvin Cook, the big question is, what round can I get Madison as a backup? Don't think like that. Think, I'm not going to draft Dalvin Cook. I'm just going to get Madison later. I'm going to grab a Najee, a Taylor, a Henry, even though they're not guaranteed to finish the season. I'm going to grab someone a little more secure at running back and then get Madison later. And then when Cook actually does go down, you've got yourself another RB1 for that week or two that Cook goes down. Could be the championships, right? That's how I've always approached Dalvin Cook, and I've done really well. He had one good year where he proved me wrong, but even in the good years he's had, he's missed. I think he was the champ 2 or 3 years ago. He actually ended up missing, Tim, the actual championship week. So it's like when it matters the most, sometimes you're not there. It's sad for the guy.
And I get your point there. Saying don't handcuff him. Don't grab Cook and grab Madison. Just pick another running back, another main running back, and then get your Madison later just in case or when Cook goes down.
When exactly?
Yeah. I hate saying that. I never wish ill upon these guys, but it happens. It's part of the game. So be it.
All right, next guy here, number 5, Deebo Samuel. I'm going to get right to it here.
What? Wait, you jumped mine.
No,
Didn't
you
you?
went.
Okay, my bad.
And I went Debo Samuel. Now I've got the list here, Tim. Follow the list. Do you have a list like Santa Claus?
I have a list, but it's
Hey,
not
if you're like Santa Claus, I know you've got the beard and everything. You got to check the list twice.
I didn't. No.
All right, perfect. Debo Samuel. Tim, I think you agreed with me on this one before the episode here. Debo, I like him. Debo was on the show last year. I think he's a great guy. I think his work ethic is great. But I liked him when I can get him when everybody was liking Ayuk. And similarly, riding his PP again is the mainstream again. So they're looking at Debo now, and they're viewing him as what? Top 7 receiver. So he's in the top 10. Where's Brandon Ayuk now, right? And the fact of the matter is, he had, 8 rushing touchdowns, Tim? I got to pull this up here. I got so many stats here.
Yep, it was 8.
8 rushing touchdowns, Tim. Let me remind you, Tim, he is not a running back. And that is top 10 running back numbers when you compare him against other running backs with rushing touchdowns. So Debo Samuel, pinnacle year, decline imminent on that front. And again, I get too high of an ADP, Tim. I'm not paying it. I'm just not going to do it.
I agree with you 100%. So first of all, his reception ratio is kind of shite as well. It's maybe like a high 50, low 60, not really what you would expect. His yards were amazing, so I'll give him that. But yes, you put a not so great reception ratio, the 8 rushing touchdowns, which definitely need to come off. Elijah Mitchell is looking really good, man. In fact, to me, he's probably going to be one of the sleepers that I would be looking at grabbing in running back. He looks like the real deal. So why are you going to have Debo running some kind of trick play, or not even necessarily a trick, but why are you just going to have Debo running near the red zone when you got Mitchell? Give it to Mitchell. Let him do his job. Don't risk your wide receiver 1 getting injured because he's running the friggin' ball when your running back could be doing it. That's just stupidity to me. So for those reasons, that's why I say he's a hell no for me. Poor reception ratio, running when he shouldn't be running, and it might not be his call, but I don't care. Give it to your running back. Protect your star receiver.
Very good point on the running back, and very good points there. One more thing, quarterback situation. We don't know who's going to be quarterback. Is it going to be Trey Lance? What's going on, Jimmy? Like, at the time of this recording, we don't know. Now, you may be listening to this episode in late August. That decision's been made. How that's going to affect Debo, that's uncertain too, depending on what quarterback comes in. So that's also question marks. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding Debo Samuel. And again, great talent. I like the guy. He was on the show last year. Okay. Maybe I should even link that episode below here, Debo Samuel. You can go watch that. But at the end of the day, man, Debo Samuel, too high, too expensive, coming off a pinnacle year that was inflated by 8 rushing touchdowns and some special plays around Debo Samuel. Once they get their offense integrated with a proper running game, that's going to change things. So yeah, that's definitely an avoid for me, Tim.
Yep. Agree.
All right, your turn. Who do you got?
Mr. Saquon Barkley. I mean, this shouldn't even need to be said, but he came in, he crushed it rookie year. Nobody knew what to expect from this guy. Yes, he was expected to be the next best thing, and he proved he was in that first year, being a true workhorse scat back. I mean, the guy had 91 receptions in that year, so he killed it. But everything since, not to mention his health. He's been injured quite a bit over the last few years. So pinnacle year when he first came in. Now everything's dropping off. The team sucks. Team around him is horrible. It's everything points to him not being, and I say him, but it's not him, to him not being as good.
I'm going to come to his defense, Tim. And again,
you did this last year, and you're going to do it again.
I know.
You are a sucker.
Hold on, let's play the Conchipsa song now.
Yeah, for you.
For me.
Yeah, for you.
I believe the Conchipsa. People are gonna. Yeah, I know. It's a good tune, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you are the Conchipsas.
All right, so that's me definitely right there. So Saquon.
Tell me why. Yeah, give it to me. Why?
All right, here we go. Tell me why. Isn't that an old Backstreet
Tell me
song?
why.
All right, listen. Here's the deal, Saquon. Now, this may sound crazy. I should be completely turned off of him, right? But he's currently sitting 15th. That's 1-5 on the consensus rankings. He is, we have Antonio Gibson ahead of him. Nick Chubb's ahead of him. DeAndre Swift's ahead of him. We got a lot of guys that I think will finish under him, that he's behind them. He's low, right? He's not that high. So you can get him for value. That's number one. Number two, I was really pissed last year that they were putting in Devontae Booker for Saquon Barkley. And I'm like, what's going on here? How is Devontae getting more similar playtime to Saquon? And I've come to the conclusion that they were preserving Saquon Barkley. So this was all it was. And then there's all this rumor about trading him. And again, at the time of this recording, he hasn't been traded or released or anything like that. So I think as of this time of this recording, he still is on the Giants. Okay. So maybe things have changed. But if they do keep him, I think they are, they got an early draft pick in the draft. So they're going to improve their O-line. Once they improve their O-line, they're building around Saquon, okay? And that's the fact of the matter. And they knew they weren't going to make it last year, the playoffs and that. So this is the year they're going to run him. Now, I thought last year was the make or break year for him. This is the make or break year for him. Now, I'm not drafting him as my RB1, not even RB2. If I can get this guy as part of a robust RB strategy as my RB3, I may consider it, Tim. I'm actually kind of excited that this guy could actually surprise a lot of people and be a sleeper this year.
Honestly, as a late third, fourth round pickup, you might be right. He would be worth it at those numbers. I'll give you that. It's just, and to be honest, if he did move to another team, I would be so much higher on him because I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think a lot of this is to do with the team that's around him. It's just not a very good team in general. But I said this inadvertently for Cook when I meant to say it for Saquon. Every stat for Saquon is down. Every single offensive category is worse on a per game basis. It's just gotten steadily worse with the Giants. So if he got a move, it would just ignite his career again, I'm sure.
Yeah. And again, I disagree with you on this. So I'm not going to completely say that I'm avoiding him. Everyone else on this list so far, from Kupp to CMC, Josh Allen, Cook, Debo, I'm completely avoiding. So this is the one I think we have a little bit of differences here. So I'm going to consider him if he's sitting there round 3 or 4. And I think a lot of people, I'm hearing buzz and rumor that he's coming off in the second round. His ADP might come up depending on that O-line. Again, I think they improved that O-line after the NFL draft. That's why after the NFL draft, you can kind of it's like having really bad vision after the NFL draft. You put the glasses on. I can see clearly now because the ADPs it's kind of adjust and you know where the depth charts fall and all that stuff and the moves that they make and everything starts settling. It's like a foundation. When you build a house, everything settles in. So I think Saquon Barkley is going to be value. So I'm not ruling him out right now for me personally.
Yeah, I think if the price is right, he's a pickup, but in the second round, he's not a pickup.
All right, next guy here, my turn, number 7. This is a clear avoid for me for many, many reasons. I'll give you a couple of them. Davante Adams, similarly to what I've been saying based on average draft position, he is far too expensive, coming off another amazing year, high target count with Aaron Rodgers moving over to the Raiders and Derek Carr, where Derek Carr's number one. I want to just hammer this home in, okay? His number one target last year was Renfrow. Good receiver, right? But he peaked, I believe at 128 targets. And when you look at a guy like Waller, who is his number one receiver at tight end the year before, Waller had a great year, peaked at 145 targets. When you look at a guy like Davante Adams, he's 160 plus. 100, what do you have last year, Tim? I think it's 169, is it? Let me just confirm here. 169 targets, I believe, last year. Yeah. 123 receptions, 11 touchdowns, 1,553 yards with Aaron Rodgers, who had years of rapport with. And I know you can say, oh, Joe, he had rapport with Derek Carr in college. Dude, it's a different game. It's a different playing field, right? Different, like everything's changed. So I love the talent. I'm really suspect about Derek Carr. So there's many reasons, including ADP, new team, volume, probably not being there. I'm staying away. Tim, what do you think here? Do you think the volume will be there for Davante Adams? I don't know.
No. I think you're making some really great points, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at Adams. So he's not on my list. He's not off my list. He's just kind of a non-thought for me. But yeah, I've said it over again too. Like, Carr goes to his tight ends. Why is he all of a sudden going to stop doing that? Is the offense going to change so drastically that the tight end no longer figures into the equation? No. So he's still going to get a lot of looks. Adams is going to get a lot of looks. Josh Jacobs was still there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be there. There's not enough to go around between their three major offensive guys.
I don't see it. And Renfrow, I mean, he's got that rapport with Renfrow. Renfrow's been a great outlet for Derek Carr. Do you completely disregard Renfrow? And not only that, Adams could actually draw in a lot of double coverage, which opens up Renfrow even more because he'll be tied up, right? So you got the lack of rapport, right? I mean, it hasn't been rapport for years. Maybe they're building it back up now. But you got the possible double coverage. You've got that rapport with Renfrow. Waller's going to get involved. Josh Jacobs catching the ball in the backfield. Derek Carr not being that superior quarterback to Rodgers. And again, I'm wearing my Green Bay hat today to represent the Adams that we had. But the Adams that we're going to get is not going to be the Adams that you think you're going to get. And he's very expensive, currently sitting number 4 on the consensus rankings. Tim, that is very expensive to me. And if you draft him, Tim, you are the Conchitas. What do you think?
Late 1, early 2? Yeah. Sorry, guys. Too high.
All right. Let's go. Let's move on here. Number 8, Tim.
Well, first, let me just throw in, though, you like to bag on Carr, too. And Carr is a good quarterback. He really is. And he throws for a lot of yardage, but not a lot of touchdowns. So that's my big knock against Carr. 4,000 yards every year, no problem. So yardage-wise, he's up there. Adams might see some yardage. Touchdowns are definitely not going to be there.
When I disagree with you, I'm just going to play this music on the background.
This is going to be my jam at the club.
Listen to the words.
I like to hate on the counselor.
That is one of those songs, if released properly and the understanding, that could be a mainstream song that could take off. It's like one of those mainstream songs. It's got that beat. It's got everything. It's such a great.
You can go to the club and be jamming to it for sure.
That is a club anthem. That is. It's a grinding song. We are the Conchitas, isn't it? Like, anyway, let's move on. Right. Who's your number 8?
Again, it's not really a bad taste in my mouth because I always bag on this guy too. So Nick Chubb.
Chubby. I don't know why people have such a chubby for this guy. And where is he currently sitting on the Conchitas?
I get it, but I don't get it. I mean, we always make the point that Hunt is there, guys, and Hunt is just as valuable. However, Hunt has missed a lot more time in the last 3 years than Chubb has.
A new offense now. Deshaun Watson likes to run, and they've got who they bring in? Amari Cooper.
Still, Chubb is one of your main offensive weapons, but no. It's still not going to be there. I don't care. I'm not going to pay the round 1 price for Chubb.
He's not round 1, Tim. He's not.
Well, he's got to be early too.
He's 12th on the consensus.
No way. Really? He's dropped a lot?
He's dropped. Yeah.
I like that, actually, but I'm still not going to pay it. I'm going to pick up Hunt 2, 3, 4 rounds later.
Oh, dude. Hunt is sitting. Where is that guy? Because he was injured last year.
Yeah. And that's Hunt's problem. Hunt can't stay healthy. He's missed. So I looked at the last 3 years. Hunt's missed 8 games twice.
Yeah, he's sitting 31st on the Conchitas, so you can get him for free.
Why? Then take it.
Absolutely.
So here's the points for the Chubb and Hunt the last 3 years. Chubb 215, 207, 255. Hunt 110, 218, 101. Those 2 100s for Hunt came because he missed half the year.
Yeah.
Like Hunt is just as valuable as Chubb if healthy.
But people don't see that. They just see him as a workhorse. And then he's not even good in PPR, which is the number 1 popular league to play in.
We always talk PPR, so the people should know that by now.
Yeah, I mean, I've just had a consensus. That's the only time I do consensus, right? I actually had a consensus, and I've talked to fans. I've done polls on my Instagram. If you're not following, make sure you're following at Fantasy Football Counselor on IG. But I tell you, a lot of people play PPR 1 point, particularly even half point. Like standard leagues, I don't bother with them. I like that point per reception. A lot of people do. So Chubb's just useless. I don't like him, man.
I wouldn't say he's useless. He's good, man. He's a hard running back, which you like, but he doesn't get the receptions, which in PPR you have to have unless you're a Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And Chubb is not a Derrick Henry. Not on this team. No way.
All right, let's wrap this up here. I got 2 more for you, and they're both wide receivers. I got one, you've got one. Let's dive into it. I can break them down for you if you want. I actually know who your last one is, but I'm going to go with mine, Tyreek Hill. Now, you're saying he's going to be value. Not really. Currently sitting 6th on the consensus rankings, which puts him potentially as a mid to late 2nd round guy. Could come off earlier for a lot of Tyreek Hill lovers. This is a guy that was completely inconsistent last year, Tim, completely inconsistent with Pat Mahomes there, going on a new offense with a suspect quarterback and Tua, completely suspect. We're not even sure if this guy's even any good at all, has not proven he can do anything. Has that rapport with Jalen Waddle already. Waddle still happens to be on the team, who was drafted very high by the Miami Dolphins, who could be a wide receiver 1 in his own respect. You bring in the speedster with Tyreek Hill, who probably is going to be drawing a lot of double coverage, opening things up for Waddle, right? Similarly to Adams and Renfro, you've got this whole Waddle-Tyreek situation, which I'm going to be avoiding like the plague here. man, I don't know, man. Too many question marks for Tyreek Hill. And I got to make a point here. I'm going to pull up the game-to-game for Tyreek Hill in PPR last year. And Tim, he had a lot of duds. If I look at week 2, 5.9 points, right? Week 3, 9.7. So imagine you draft Tyreek Hill, which was his average draft position last year was end of first round. You draft him first week 1, 37 points. This is last year. 37.1 points. The week after, week 1, 37.1, week 2, 5.9 points, week 3, 9.7. You're like, oh crap, man. I drafted this guy so early. He busted 2 out of 3 weeks. You're dying. And then week 4, he has 47.6 points. And the week after, he comes back with a 14.8 dud. And he had a couple other duds through the season, including week 16 with 3.9 points. Listen to this. Week 13, 4.2 points. And week 9, he had 7.3 points. Tim, he had like 5 to 6 dud games throughout the season. It hurts.
He's a DFS player with those numbers you're throwing at me, man. You pick those right weeks and he wins it for you. No problem.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. Suspect team. Waddle's there. Waddle did great last year. I'm not thrilled with their quarterback situation. We don't know what's going to happen there. I'm not thrilled with their running back situation. If they can actually put this team together properly, get themselves a real running back. They've got Gesicki as a tight end. Okay, whatever. He's decent. Just they need to figure a lot of shit out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, man. So I'm avoiding them, period.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
All right. Last one here. Tim, who do you got?
Mr. A.J. Brown. I don't know why I said it like that, but A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. If you look at him, he is currently sitting, I can't believe he's still in the top 10. It's ludicrous. And I warned against this guy last year because of the simple fact that Ryan Tannehill does not throw a lot. That's the bottom line. Last year, he finished 12th amongst quarterbacks in pass attempts. That's with Derrick Henry being sidelined pretty much half the season, more than half the season. Their run first team. A.J. Brown is good. He's not sensational. And similarly, this is what's going to happen again, Tim. The Consheep says, what's going to happen, Tim, I got to play this in the background, is that people are going to draft him early and they don't even know what's coming again. He busted. He finished 32nd last year, Tim, amongst wide receivers. 32nd amongst wide receivers last year and was drafted top 5, top 10 picks amongst wide receivers in the rankings. And I told you to avoid him. The volume won't be there. Sure enough, he didn't play the whole season. He played, 13 games. Tim, I'm avoiding this guy.
Well, I think I made the argument that Robert Woods is just as good as him. So why would you take A.J. Brown? Robert Woods is probably going several rounds later. It's not worth the risk. Pick someone else and then pick Woods way later.
And what's crazy is if you avoid these guys, I think either Renfro, Waddle, or Woods, one, if not all three, at least one of these guys will beat one of those other receivers in fantasy points. They're in a situation where you're looking at either one of these. That's because, again, Renfro, you've got the talent. You got the rapport. Waddle, you've got that early draft capital. He's still a good receiver. Waddle's good. He's got that rapport as well with Tua. And then you're looking at Woods coming off a bit of a down year, was banged up. New offense could be revived there with Tannehill. Still leading AJ Brown, but he's had his share of injuries as well. One of those guys could actually surpass the guy ahead of them. Very possible.
Like you say, too, though, this is a run-first team, man. This is a Derrick Henry team all the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, AJ's been there for 3 years. He's had 1,000 yards 2 of those 3 years, and he's being close on the third. So he gets the ball, but it's not pinnacle. It's not going to be way up there. So why bother? Unless the value is right, he's an avoid.
Absolutely.
As most guys are. So I still think that the value is probably too high for an AJ.
Yes, I'm not paying it at all, period. So there it is, guys. Those are our top 10 players. And we agree with everybody other than maybe you have a question mark with Saquon, who could absolutely blow up based on that ADP. It's tempting, Tim, when I'm looking at Saquon here. That's it.
Yeah, if people think of the name and draft him too early because he's Saquon, then you're an idiot. If you can wait until his actual ADP and get him late 3, 4, woo, baby. Decent.
I really think, honestly, that people will draft him higher. I just see somebody in my league is going to come in and say, well, I want Saquon. I can get him at the end of second round, and then he's gone in second round. And I definitely see that, especially once they find out which is going to happen. They're going to get an offensive tackle. They're going to improve that O-line. They have to. They have no choice. And I really think that's why they kept him, and that's why they preserved him last year. So aside from Saquon, everybody else here, man, I'm just going to avoid.
Yeah, that's why we did this show.
And
price is too high on most of them.
And not to say that CMC could blow up and become a top 3 running back again. It's very possible. But again, we've expressed all the risks and all the high draft capital that you have to invest if you want to invest these guys. And there's better options.
Yeah, and if you've drafted CMC the last 2 years at that high price, well, you got burned both years.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. Again, we may draft these guys, we may not. But again, I'm particularly not. I'm not. You guys may want to draft them, but we're not. And that's pretty much it, man. Those are your top 10 players to avoid for fantasy football 2022. Tim, I really like this episode. It was full of passion and excitement.
Hey, we agreed on too many, though.
Yeah. All right. We usually don't do that. People are used to us arguing.
Yeah, I like the battle.
All right, let's roll out, Tim.
Sprinkle some dust.
All right. All right, guys. We are out. Thanks for being here.
All right. Have a good one, guys.